Wait till we go through the recap of the year. Ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs, my goodness, we are live. Last Total Value Locked show of the year. Got had a lot of people who unfortunately can't make it through the holidays for panels. So happy holidays to everybody out there. This will be our last TVL show for the year. We are taking the next 2 weeks off so the team can have a little bit of time with their families, do a little bit of heads down content reset stuff, and excited to be here with everybody. I just need to repost our little show here on the tweeters now that it's live, since that's the way that it works with Twitter. They don't give you something ahead of time. So excited to be here. We have Ken with an exclamation point, Devrel from Taoshi and Glitch Finance, BitTensor subnet numero ocho. Good to see you, sir.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be back.
Yes, sir. And then, of course, we have our favorite Pith Degen, the one, the only, OX Keiko, with the...
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night, as he said when you first came on. Night. Wonderful. Before we continue, I just wanted to say a quick congrats. Fresh news from a live stream they just did. Hats off to Panoptic. We just had them on 2 weeks ago. Huge get for us. They are now live on ETH mainnet, app.panoptic.xyz or just panoptic.xyz, a novel DeFi options protocol, permissionless. It's currently obviously geo-restricted, so you'll have to take a quick vacation, if you know what I'm saying, if you want to use the protocol for now. My guess is, because they did testnet on Base, that Base will be an expansion target soon. So if you're looking for a true options protocol to tell your perps to go hold my beer, go check out panoptic.xyz. Congrats, guys, on your launch starting today. When we had them 2 weeks ago, they're like, probably Q1. And they said, just kidding. Big old psych. We're going live today. So good for them. We'll see where we go from here. So with that said, we'll take a quick look at the markets. Bitcoin, man, that strategic Bitcoin reserve news kind of got everybody into a frenzy, because hit up to the new all-time high. I think the all-time high is now 107,120, 107,620. I'm sorry, 108, 135.
Insane. And the thing is, once it broached 100, it's like, well, it's gonna go to 1 million. That barrier is reached. Like, well, is it gonna stop going up? It's at 100K now. So
yeah, it's a mental break just because we were so close. We touched up to 998 at one point, and then finally it happened, and now we're off to the races. One thing we didn't put into the agenda is just how many states are doing a strategic Bitcoin reserve legislative bill. We talked about one in Pennsylvania, but there's now one in Texas. All over, right? Texas, Pennsylvania. I think I heard even Maryland might be on the docket. We have multiple companies. Famously, both Microsoft and Amazon have turned down the idea of adding a strategic Bitcoin reserve to their actual corporate treasuries. But, I don't think it's like slow news cycle, but at the same time, it's just kind of, interesting that whole companies are putting the stuff to vote on, what to do with the company's money, because frankly, most companies don't care what their employees think they should do with their money. So, I don't know where you live, Ken. Do you think this is something that could be a part of moving forward, that this is just what's going to happen? Every major institution, every state's going to have a quote unquote strategic crypto reserve, regardless of whatever it is.
In North Carolina, we're a little bit slow to adopt certain things, so I see it being put off for a little bit, but I see them slowly catching on. I mean, with the way things are going down with I forget the word I'm looking for, but inflation. It only makes sense. You're hedging against different things here with keeping Bitcoin in your reserve. I think it makes a lot of sense. We see it, MicroStrategy, Texas, I think that was mentioned, all these other places, US. I think it makes sense so you can get ahead of the game, ahead of everyone else, because there's only a limited supply. So I think it's a good hedge. It's just certain states are going to be slower to adopt it. My state probably being one of the last, because we're last with everything.
Yeah, I think that has to do with the probably the average age of the people that live in North Carolina. It's definitely up there.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, really good point. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. At the very least, some states are adopting it. We could see that, and then other states can learn from that. We'll go slow. That'll mean that it'll give me time to keep buying up some more Bitcoin, but it's going to be a slow process. But I'm excited. At least some states and the US are getting on board, and certain companies and entities. So slow going, but I'm excited.
I'm curious to see what Pennsylvania does with this, because like they've actually been mining Bitcoin for like a few years now, I think, and they're the only state that has a nuclear powered Bitcoin farm, which is like super cool. I don't know why nobody else is doing that, considering it's the cheapest form of electricity that you can get. And they've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now, I think. So I'm curious how that's going to help out like their I guess Pennsylvania specific economy. I forget the word for that, but
yeah, I want to say that the company that they're partnering with is TeraWolf, if I'm not mistaken, because they have two. There's the one there that's just south of 3 Mile Island, and they have another one. I think it's in Delaware. Not completely sure, but they're on water, so they specialize specifically on hydropower. So I think in next case nuclear power. So yeah, we'll see exactly how we go from here. Looking at bubbles real quick before we head back to our opening topic.
Virtual.
My portfolio is green.
I was about to say, I was like, our portfolios are green, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you go, but
yeah, it's just basically things we've talked about for a while. These are just going to be corrections, right? Shakeups. Of course, there's going to be a red week on a lot of these leaders. It just happens to be this week. I think that there's going to be more movement as we get closer to the end of the year. We're getting CPI data, there's an FOMC meeting happening today, as was yesterday. So we are expecting a rate cut of some sort, and maybe that sends more money back in. But for now, of course, we've been going up, up, up. So we were going to have to come back down at some point. But I'm not shocked that Hype and Virtual are the leaders here. Same thing with BitGet, right? BitGet, Aave, Link has been great. ENS just announced name chain. And then, of course, Ondo and Sui are going to have been leading for quite some time. The interesting part here is the seat at the table. I didn't put this in the agenda either. Crypto.com is starting to eke its head from behind that curtain after getting the hook pulled on them a long time ago. I saw that head of Crypto.com had a nice little meeting, that little thumbs up picture with him and President-elect Trump. I'm like, oh, here we go. We're about to see the rise of Kronos.
FTX round 2.
There we go.
No, it's interesting. Like you can kind of see it happening a little bit with like the coins that are outlined in green. Like Hype is the leader in this type of industry, so obviously it's an exchange on chain. BitGet is obviously an exchange with a token.
Yep.
Crypto.com is an exchange with a token. BNB is an exchange with a token. You can see it, down there in its own little green circle. So I think a lot of exchanges are pumping partially because of Hype's success, but they're also just extremely down bad. Like if you look at the BitGet chart, 30%, I think it pumped like 200% or something a week ago or the week before. And 200% isn't even close to where it used to be.
Right.
These things are so illiquid at this point that anything pumps them.
Yeah, and liquidity is short, right? I'm not going to worry about this little bubble right here, because that's just an aberration. That's an aberration. It could be worse. You could be any of these others.
Could be the ones I'm holding right now. Yeah.
There we go.
Solana,
it's all right.
Solana go down across the board.
Oh yeah. Solana's like down way bad, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're back on. This is a dip buying opportunity, right? So we'll label it as such.
Like a lot of meme coins. Yeah, a lot of meme coins are down. So, and we talked about meme coins the last time we met, which
We
was
did.
interesting. We discussed that there's probably the underlying trend, the psychological trend as to why meme coins are up right now, but meme coins are down pretty bad right now. So, and of course they're down because I bought some. So,
Oh, okay, I see. So you are now the catalyst. It used to be that one of us bought,
it was me.
but because you bought, clearly that is why the market's down. That's
I had to
okay.
bring some balance. I didn't want to do it, but I had to bring some balance to the space.
I agree.
I thought people's head were getting my own head was getting a little bit too big. I thought I knew what I was doing. So just had to bring some balance to the space.
That's okay. I mean, this is the week chart. So actually, I take it back. That's the day chart. The week chart really doesn't look that much different. So I guess it is what it is. But yeah. So we'll go ahead and head to the news because we have a lot to cover. I was going to talk about this amazing PlayStation hoodie that I found on Thrift in Vancouver, BC, Canada, where I went on vacation with my family. It was a great time. I'm still not recovered from that because when you're on the grind in the trenches, 10, 12 hours a day, and then you leave and don't do anything for 4 days. You come back and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's just one of those things. But Ken, what is that on your hat? I just wanted to ask what that was.
Wish me luck.
Wish me luck. I like that.
Is it backwards for you?
No, it's perfectly fine.
Just the cursive.
Much like most of our new generation, I can't read cursive. I take that back. I can't. But
it's I mean, cursive is falling, but I could barely even write it myself. But
fair enough.
Wish us luck.
But I will say, what's not falling, and that is our free group, Total Value Locked. Thank you everybody for joining us on this show at the Beacon. Again, the last TVL show of the year. We'll be back in January with the next show with more panels. Again, huge numbers have flocked to this site since February 20th when we launched, and thank you all so much for being a part of our community. Thanks for being here again. If you want to learn from the best in the business on how to get from 0 to 1, 0 to hero in the on-chain DeFi space quickly and securely the way we did it, join us absolutely free. Skool.com/beacon. Skool.com/beacon. Absolutely free. Join the hundreds and many more that have joined us off of this. And again, thanks to our Beacon Mastermind founding members and our Beacon Accelerator members for also being a part of us being able to do what we do. And of course, thank you to our guests for being here today. Today is actually going to be a little bit of a retrospective, but before we get back to the retrospective, because once we talk about what 2024 has been, you guys are going to be like, my goodness, what a life we've lived in 2024. But we'll start with this. Deutsche Bank building an L2 blockchain on Ethereum. This is based off of ZK Sync technology. So it'll be an L2 built on top of ZK Sync. The interesting part is that this is part of Project Dama, which is from Project Guardian, something I talked about a little hush hush alpha I got actually 2 booths down from you, Ken, when I met you in Salt Lake City. Someone told me, like, look out for Project Guardian. I'm like, what's that? And then apparently it's this big tokenized project from the Monetary Authority of Singapore. So 24 financial institutions will be exploring blockchain-based asset tokenization. So the reason why they're coming through with this L2, which is being built on top of ZK Sync, is to prove to other institutions, kind of like leading the way on how you as an institutional bank can operate on public blockchains through zero knowledge proofs. So this will be very interesting. This is good BD from ZK Sync to land this. Again, this will be sometime in 2025, but just the idea that they're going to do this is interesting. We're going to see more and more institutions through BlackRock, through BUIDL, through all of the RWA tokenization stuff, make their way down into DeFi across all fronts, I think, in 2025. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from there. Any thoughts real quick, gentlemen, before we move on to the next topic?
I just find that this is all a part of it. It's just perfect timing. Everything's really coming together. Mm-hmm. Multiple layers here: Bitcoin, Reserve, US, Deutsche Bank, Singapore, saw this stuff coming together. You know, I somewhat am scared that Bitcoin's going to do its Bitcoinness and do something we can't expect, but all signs are pointing to a very interesting 2025. So, and this goes right along with it. So it'd be interesting to see what news articles, what things transpire next year, but I am very excited.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's ironic that they come out and launch something with 24 different banks when there's
Right?
another unnamed protocol that keeps claiming they're the messaging for the banking system. But I'm not gonna say any names.
I know, and I'm not going to name them. But with my PlayStation hoodie, that also brings up how Sony is going to be coming out in 2025, another layer 2. So, yeah, man, the future is going to be very interesting with a lot of brand names coming about. But I just wanted to ask real quick before I nail this segue, have you ever purchased a large purchase using Bitcoin or any other crypto?
My car and my wife's car I bought with Bitcoin.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That is amazing. Was it difficult?
Yeah. Well, I guess no. The gentleman took. Sorry, Keiko, I didn't.
No, did you off ramp or like transact directly with Bitcoin?
My car, I just gave the guy Bitcoin for it. So he's my car right now is probably worth paid more than I should have, but that's fine. I wanted
you literally in-person handshook OTC'd that.
I did. I found the guy online. He had the car I wanted. I drove up to Maine to get it and transferred it to him right then and there. And it was a car that I've always wanted. So may I
ask what car that is?
Hopefully, Toyota Land Cruiser.
There you go. Okay.
I didn't want to do the Lambo. I'm not a
That's
Lambo
okay.
guy. I didn't want to go, to the gym in my Lambo, but I got a Land Cruiser. My wife's car was similar, but a little different. We cashed out a little bit, and then the rest paid for with Bitcoin. So, yeah, I mean, I know a little bit about this. I can't say it's really been the only thing too. I wrote some of those profits. Hey, that could have been me and my
that's you right there. That's you right there, Ken.
That's me. That's me.
There you go. Wow. What about you, Keiko? You ever what's the biggest thing you bought with crypto? I want to say mine is like the Solana Seeker.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
Maybe like a ticket to something, or
fair enough.
I never transact in crypto, so maybe at most like $100 for something stupid.
That's conferences you can pay for in crypto. Those things are expensive. Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah, you get discounts, but man, I don't know. Like I'm such a big credit card user because credit cards have crazy benefits. Yeah, you have crazy points. You have the startup bonuses. Like I have 20 plus credit cards that I farm, so it's it's a little bit different. The only reason I'm not debanked is because I need a debit account to pay for the credit cards, basically. Yep.
That's true.
I mean, there are solutions nowadays that are kind of popping up. The most interesting is the Coinbase, the newest Coinbase announcement, where you can earn 4 or 4.5% on your stable coins that you're holding in your debit account. And then they offer a debit card with that. So
I have that.
Oh, do you?
I use that. I use that tremendously in Vancouver.
Really? So do you earn the percent yield on your balance that you transact with?
I think so. You just have to. You get to choose it. You get to choose it, and you can choose an asset that you want to earn cash back on.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious because you can just like hold USDC in your account, and then they pay you the 4.7%.
Yep.
But I was curious if that is the same balance that you would pay bills from, or like pay expenses out of.
Yeah, it's a regular debit card.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have to start using that then. That's the first step to getting debanked. Is I want my stables earning interest on my debit card.
Sure, and obviously there's things like Cypher. There's Cypher. There's Spritz. There's a bunch of different card issuers that are out there, and some of them use interesting tactics. Some of them are like based in Switzerland with IBAN numbers and stuff like that. But we're going to see more of this specifically in 2025.
Yep.
the
Yeah,
ability for
Moonwell.
people to be debanked, especially after everything that's something I didn't even talk about, and I don't have in the agenda, that, the article that, more than 30 tech founders got debanked.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy, right? And it's ironic, right? Because if you think about people who've been debanked, like, oh, because it was from Chase, and I'm like,
Yeah.
like, behind the scenes, working in crypto for the last 3 years, I mean, it's just such a talking out the both sides of your mouth, and it's just dumb. But yeah. So anyway, the reason I brought it up was because apparently there are multiple dealers like Auto Coin Cars, HGreg Bitcars, and Truebill. I've never used any of these, and I didn't take the time to actually bring up their websites, but they are dealership AML compliant. So I think that is the interesting part. So I don't know if you have to KYC for such things, to be quite honest. I like Ken's version better.
Well,
Well,
yeah, I mean, the car that I bought is going to be $1 million car.
I was about to say, I was like,
yeah.
it's the only car that ever you can't.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that sentimental. Hey, this has been a lifelong dream of mine. Oh, but now it's worth $1 million.
There you go.
Just to make the pain a little bit better. That's the things we say to ourselves.
Yeah, at least it's a Toyota. It's not going to die in
exactly.
a year or two.
Yeah, you're gonna get 200,000 miles on that easy for sure.
There we go. Yeah, every time Bitcoin goes up, my mileage, $1 million miles, $1 million Bitcoin.
Yeah, your mileage is equal to the price of Bitcoin.
Exactly. Now, another way you could do this is, and this is because I put in the agenda, why would you do this? But one thing you could also do, and then we talked about this a couple of weeks ago with somebody who had a question about, buying a mortgage with crypto. I would personally just take the loan out on something like Aave, with stables, and then just offload that and pay your bill with it. I mean, that's honestly probably the easiest way to do it. You could, of course, do that through, Keiko, I think CrossMint has something like that. Anyway.
Yeah, CrossMint has something like that.
Yeah, that would be something you could do.
Yeah, CrossMint's interesting. I actually haven't used CrossMint too much, but I've seen it pop up a few times. And
the fees on these things are stupid, but at the same time,
yeah, they're crazy.
First mover advantage, right? They're out there, so they're going to be doing that. But yeah, something interesting that they can be. Tesla takes Bitcoin. They used to take Doge. I don't think they're going to be taking Doge again anytime soon. But yeah, so that's interesting. I was just totally just going to glaze over this topic, but the fact that you bought 2 cars with Bitcoin, Ken, is amazing.
Yeah, this is, I think, a couple of years ago too. This is when. No, this had to be during the last bull market. We've had our cars for some time now, so really was just riding the wave. And I'm like, well, why not? We were leaving New York and we needed cars, so.
Oh my God! I'm thinking how much Bitcoin that is. Ooh, wow.
Yeah, well, it still was. I'm still happy with it.
Of course.
It was. Yeah, I'm still happy with it. There were some other things that came into play there where it wasn't that bad. It wasn't all Bitcoin at like $30K to buy a car. So there was some other stuff that came into play there too. But I'm on one shoulder. It's like, yeah, good. On the other one, it's like, I could have, Bitcoin's going to continue to go up. Could have saved some, but hindsight's 2020.
Hindsight's 2020. I mean, who am I going to sit here and say that 104 is Bitcoin resistance in 2024? No, but here we are.
Here we are.
Oh man, that was awesome. All right, so big news too. SBTC finally live on Stacks mainnet. We've been covering Stacks and Bitcoin Layer 2s for a while now. What's interesting is by the numbers. Let's see, by the numbers. And you can't see this chart because it's way too small of a thing. But right now they have 1,000 BTC, 1,000 BTC cap, I believe, for SBTC if you're on Stack. So this is a two-way peg. SBTC is a synthetic BTC derivative that is going to be backed by anything that's staked on the Bitcoin side. So ultimately you're there to play with your SBTC while it sits in a smart contract on the other side. 563 has already come through. I'm sorry, 398 has been minted already off of the peg, which is nuts, if you ask me, specifically for stacks.
These are not DeFi users. These are very big traditional finance people that are committing this capital.
That is correct. And that's the interesting part, right? To me, that's the biggest part, right? Because they have things like Alex, they have things like Stacking DAO, other protocols that are actually on the up. And DeFi is only going to get bigger on stacks now that they have what's called anchoring with the Nakamoto upgrade on Halloween. Now, blocks, even though block times on layer 1 Bitcoin are like 6 to 10 minutes, they're anchoring and batching all of their blocks, which I think are 5-second blocks. So they're able to still commit everything to the proof of work chain. So they get all the benefits of security in Bitcoin and all that. So a really interesting, and we'll talk about this in the 2024, is just when you think about the other end of quote unquote, Bitcoin Fi, where we're talking about ordinals and runes. And on the other side, now you have things like, you have stuff like stacks, you have stuff like rootstock, you have build on Bitcoin, core, you have Citria, which is, BTC with zero knowledge proofs, stuff like that. It's going to be a very interesting 2025. We're going to see Bitcoin blossom, I think, with some DeFi services now that these things work pretty well. The only thing that I think Stacks is going to need is a little bit cheaper gas, to be quite honest. But other than that, I'm excited to kind of test the waters. We have a lot of members who hold BTC and are looking for safer things to do that. Of course, I wouldn't put the majority of my BTC in this. This is, of course, something for like 2 to 5% of your allocation, just to see. Obviously, it's better than just holding and not getting anything. This way, you're getting a little bit of return on it, and of course, it's a two-way peg for the SBTC 1-to-1.
This is like super impressive from them. They have some pretty big commitments from traditional finance like groups and like hedge funds, VCs, institutional investors as well, like extremely large names. I know of one. I don't really know if it's like public or not, so I don't want to just spew some random stuff. But yeah, it's super impressive. They're basically the case study that proves the phrase of, even if we just unlock 1% of traditional finance Bitcoin on chain, that's millions and billions of dollars. They're proving that some institutions are actually willing to stake their Bitcoin and earn yield on it instead of just sitting on it, which I think proves the validity of all of these Bitcoin L2s and all of the vaporware that's been like deployed and launched over the past year. I was kind of like a Bitcoin L2 hater because I did not see the use case for any of this, because it was completely relying on the assumption that the major holders of Bitcoin would actually use this stuff, which was yet to be seen. And I think Stacks is actually proving this.
And they're SEC approved.
Yep.
Got to keep that in mind. They're SEC approved. So, Ken, do you have any thoughts on this? Have you used Stacks at all?
I use Stacks 6. I mean, whenever they first came out, excuse me, I have yet to really follow up with this. Super interesting. But yeah, it was a long time ago, so I'd have to kind of have a refresher on where they're at right now. This is pretty interesting, though. I mean, it seems like they've always kind of just been in the back of my mind. I've heard about them, but yeah, not too much involvement, not too much knowledge on Stacks.
Yeah, I will say give it a try. We did a boot camp on this in October, on BTC-L2s, and we used the Xverse wallet. Shout out to Xverse, shout out to Leather. 2 really good wallets that you can use on the BTC-L2 side for Stacks. Really, the hardest part was just trying to figure out the easiest way to fund it using DeFi, and there just isn't. You have to use a CEX to withdraw Stacks or the STX token to the Stacks network to do that. But other than that, using things like Alex, and there's a perp dex out there, I forgot the name of it. Yeah, it's pretty good. So yeah, it's been a pretty smooth experience. I liked it. I thought it was fairly fast, and yeah, really excited about that. Other big news from this week at least, and it happened this morning at around 9 a.m. Eastern. Phantom Sonic is now live. So they're going to sit there and play the game. Fastest EVM chain in history, quote unquote. That's not true, but there's going to be a lot of movement coming around, specifically with the FTM to S token 1-to-1 conversion, which I think will be a very interesting move. I can't think of one person who's not going to do it. But yeah, so this means 6 months from now, we'll see the Genesis airdrop. So farming Phantom Sonic for the next 6 months will probably be on a lot of people's mind. But we'll see. We'll see. Mr. Keiko, do you know quite a bit about this behind the scenes? Are you fairly hyped about this future for Phantom Sonic?
Yeah, Sonic definitely has tech that competes with Monad. From what I've seen, literally they are following the same exact narrative of holy shit, it's fast, basically.
Yep.
Like that's their whole brand. Yeah, and Sonic is fast. I think I'm bullish from a tech perspective, and obviously I'm an OG Phantom user, so super bullish, like pretty much no matter what. Like they have crazy lore, and in crypto, lore performs. Like everybody who used it remembers. They remember the Tomb Forks. They remember Andre. So Andre is obviously back. He's going to be launching, I think, 3 new different primitives. As long as the first one is successful, the chain is gonna cook, in my opinion. I think the marketing is quite interesting. They actually don't have any marketing. From talking to the team, there's no CMO, there's no marketing team at all. It's all biz dev and it's all the KOLs, which can either be really good or really bad. I guess depending on like allocations and stuff like that. I think they have done a good job with the airdrop. The airdrop will be interesting because I don't think it was actually farmed that much. And I say that because I didn't even really find out about a lot of it until it was already closed. So I think that the airdrop might make some people filthy rich, and it's going to cause like a FOMO effect on CT. Not because it's like that crazy of an airdrop, but just because it was underfarmed. So it's not going to be diluted that much. Because while people were paying attention to Monad and Barachain, Sonic had their airdrop in the background, and everybody wasn't paying attention to it. So I think there's going to be a FOMO effect when Sonic goes live, which will be very, 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 very soon.
Well, what we do know, based on everything we talked about, because we've been talking about Sonic since April, is airdrop is going to be in 2 parts. The Phantom part is closed, as you know, as you just mentioned, Keiko. But the actual Sonic side of it starts immediately. And we don't know the criteria, but it'll be going all the way till, I'm assuming, because the launch is in June or July, rather for the token, the TGE. You'll be able to do criteria all the way up probably till May when they take a snapshot, and then it's both. But then Andre has decided to, give a big middle finger to everybody and gamify the drop. So you'll get 25% up front. The other 75 will be decayed over 270 days. So if you want the rest of it, you're gonna have to wait.
So you're saying I should use? There was a group a couple of years ago where we literally were just trying to get airdrops. So we would just cycle funds through protocols. So it sounds like maybe there's something here similar too. So
I mean,
not yet, but yes.
Not yet. I mean, so here's obviously this is big news for a lot of people because people are old Phantom users, at least in our community. But the other part is that Sonic is releasing into an environment with other fast chains. I mean, there are chains like, first of all, Say just released something today about GigaGas that's going to make them even faster, which is pretty nuts because they're already faster than Phantom Sonic. They just don't have the scalability, I think, that Sonic does. But then you have other chains like Supra, for example, which has got crazy interop on it. And then we have other like Mega ETH is coming. There's a bunch of different chains, Monad, Barachain, that are also going to be coming that they'll all be
Sonic SVM.
Yeah. Wow. Like I said, it's all just a matter of how it performs, if they can get the right people, the right KOLs to talk about projects, and if people are making money. Phantom has that on their side, right? Because they have the right people who build unicorns, like Andre Cronje, like Danielle Sestigali, and the Beats team. They've got a Codex. If you want to shout out Byte Masons and all them, they know how to build, and if they have the right environment, this could go pretty hard. but we'll see.
Yeah, this does seem interesting with the names in it as well.
Yep.
I do wonder what the end game for these L2s are. I mean, we met at Permissionless where there was, I think, was that Super there? They had some awesome swag. I still have their.
I have the red hoodie. You have the red hoodie?
I
Oh,
still
I have the
use
red hoodie.
their. Yeah, I brought this to Money 2020 in Vegas. This has been with me everywhere. But yeah, I wonder what the end game for some of these L2s are. There's a ton of them, and I like that we're continuously improving. You know, it's bringing some new features and interesting things, but it's so fragmented now. You know, where do you go? Where do you? So it's.
Well, here's the thing, Ken. They're not layer 2s. These are all layer 1s. Super is an L1. Phantom Sonic is an L1. Say, Monad, Barachain. Wait, is Barachain a layer 2?
No, it started as an L2, but now
right. They pivoted, right?
It's an EVM parallel
roll-up thing,
like EVM equivalent L1. I think that's what they're calling it.
Yeah, so that's the interesting part, is that we are having multiple L2s, like Kraken Inc. and some of these others that are L2s that are coming out. They're also launching soon. We'll see how all of these do. But, you know, I think you addressed a great point, Ken, is that interoperability is going to be huge. Obviously, Keiko, with his affiliation of Pith, will be a big part of that. You're going to see a lot of new projects like Near kind of coming to the limelight and having their interop with chain abstraction. All of the layers that are out there, like Polygon Ag Layer, Axelar ITS, and all these other things are out there. They're all going to talk to each other. And some of them are built to be agnostic, like Babylon, Eigenlayer, all these things. They're all built to be chain agnostic. So we're going to see an interesting just smorgasbord of things.
Have you guys heard, and I'm not sure, so I even hate to really... Have you guys heard about this Coinbase Chainlink like interoperability thing that they were?
Have we heard about this one? Keiko has thoughts.
Yeah, I've been so I don't know too much about it. I've been so heads down at Taoshi getting some stuff done, but I heard about it I think a week ago, and I didn't dive too much into it. So I don't know if you have any thoughts, Keiko, or what it really is.
You're talking about CCIP?
That could be it.
Yeah, so they're partnering together. They're partnering together to use CCIP for. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, CCIP is like what CCIP is. Like that's where we don't really like compete from like a Pith Chainlink perspective. It's two very different products. So like,
yes,
I'll be totally forward. Like I used to be like a Link maxi. I still have some Link tokens because of that, and it's. They're going after the banking messaging, which is Swift. So CSCIP and like obviously exchanges are going to want to use whatever banks are integrating. So when you're talking about Deutsche Bank and the 23 others that were using something else,
Project Guardian.
I was taking a slight jab at Chainlink because of that, because CCIP is supposed to be this messaging protocol of the future. But yeah, no, I definitely it makes sense. I actually don't know too much about like the tech behind CCIP, but respect to them. They're doing a fantastic job with integrations on the CCIP side of things.
Interesting.
But man, there's so much that I can't talk about.
I know. That's what I was like. I know you had thoughts, but there's so much you can't say.
No, I hear you. Yeah, I looked it up. It was Project Diamond, Coinbase's Project Diamond. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's a framework, right, with CCIP. The one thing that's interesting about them is that, for a lot of people just use CCIP, or rather Chainlink in general, for off-chain oracles, right? That was their game for a very long time. So when they created CCIP as a way to do interop, so you have not only price chain oracles, but also smart contract operations, out the box framework. So if you want something that's very boilerplate, you don't have to change a whole ton. That's where CCIP can be good for you. The problem is that ultimately, they didn't really do a whole lot. Well, I take that back. They didn't do a whole lot publicly for a very long time, which to me led to groups like
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years, right? Yeah, so groups like Pith and some others that I'm not going to name right now could come up and kind of see the light. But that's okay, because competition's good, right? Having options are good. Ultimately, I think while they are competitors, they're not completely direct competitors based on the tech. But excited to see how it makes companies kind of get their foot in the door, especially Web 2, with partnering with Coinbase and stuff like that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But
There's a lot of
yeah,
trust that comes to this type of like problem solution set, because most traditional finance applications or even exchanges are probably 3 to 5 years behind in what we know about in terms of on-chain tech. So like they're just now, like even traditional finance, the market, like they just launched BTC ETF. They're talking about an ETH ETF. Like that's not like that's what 8 years in the past, 9 years in the past at this point. So they're just catching up with like Link, ENA, like what you can see what Liberty-Fi is purchasing. Those are kind of like the TradFi boomer assets right now. So there's a lot of time that needs to pass for the information about this technology to reach these people that are like less informed and not so much in the trenches. So the way that I see it is like competitors to us and even us. Most people don't even know about us yet in that realm of spaces. Obviously, at Coinbase, like Coinbase knows who we are, but from a traditional finance and banking point of view, yeah, they probably don't even know of any competitors that Chainlink has.
exactly.
TLDR,
All right.
we are so early.
Yeah, we say that a lot.
Everyone here, even in the chat, everyone is so early. Yeah.
You're so early.
It's so true. I mean, even with Bitcoin being where it is now, I think we're still so early, which is fascinating. Where these things really going to go. Our kids, our grandkids, hopefully they can really take advantage of this. But yeah, we're so early.
Well, go out and buy some penguins. Because Pengu is available in some of these penguins, by the way. If you like your Pudgy Penguins, you can find them at your local Walmart, your local Target, or your online retailer of choice. They did release their Pengu claim yesterday. In advance of their... so Pudgy Penguins is having a blockchain coming out, a layer 2 called Abstract. It'll be in January next month. Kind of crazy it's next month already. A couple weeks away. But Pengu is more of like... I don't even think it's going to be gas. It's just more of just like a fun culture coin, which is ultimately the way you should honestly look at it if you're interested in it. There are a lot of people who qualify for this Pengu claim. If you're an older user, just link an ETH wallet or your Sol wallet. You'll be surprised. I know plenty of people. I don't own a Pudgy Penguin of any type or any of their collections, and I got an airdrop.
I got
so
some
thanks
too.
for that.
Yeah. I don't know what I did to receive it. I mean, I've been you use some of these apps, some of these DeFi products. There's so many countless airdrops that we're all probably eligible for. So I was able to get some Pengu. So I like,
there you go.
I've always liked the Pudgy Penguins. I think they're actually going to kind of perform better than even the apes this 2025. So we'll see, but
That's bold, man.
Well,
I mean, they're about. Didn't they flip? I think they flipped Punks on Floor. So.
Oh yeah, they flipped everything.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. The apes, how they've been handling kind of their resources. I think the Pudgy Penguins have been doing a much better job. So I think NFTs, they haven't had their moment yet, but I think it's coming.
We'll see, man. Yeah, like I said, we'll see exactly how this kind of falls out. A lot of people are selling. That's fine. I'm holding, just because it's currently like 2.9 billion in terms of market cap, which it's still early. You actually have 88 days to claim. 86 at this point. 86 days to claim. If you are, look at that. See, a lot of people sold it like, under 3 cents. I think there's going to be something to do if you hold. So I'm definitely holding. We're doing LPs on the backside on Meteor off this. So, we're just going to sit back and kind of ride the fees and just see where we go from here. But to say that they're not going to go above, where's our MC? 2.4 billion right now. I think they could go. They could definitely go higher. What do you think, Gecko?
Yeah, 2.4 billion for the most widely distributed NFT collection, like in the ecosystem. Not in terms of digitally distributed, but physically distributed in terms of mindshare and freaking Walmart plushies.
Yep.
Like, it's the most popular NFT on TikTok. It's the only NFT plushie you could purchase at Walmart, as far as I know. and like it's only 2.4 bill. Like it should be up there. Like it's not quite Doge status, but in Asia, it's definitely up there. So
Yeah.
I don't even know what the market cap of Doge is, but this is a small fraction of it.
Doge market cap is 56 bill.
Yeah. So
Wow, 56 billion.
yeah, perspective. Perspective. It's tiny. So maybe not quite there, but yeah, what's Pepe, like 10? So even Pepe's a 5x.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely think if you just, so definitely check it out. I mean, I got in on multiple OG and ETH, OG Sol, and if I could have sold literally doing nothing and just more of like, hey, cool, for your suffering for the last 3 years, here's a couple $100. I'm like, cool, thanks, penguins, thanks, wormhole.
I think the
it's
drop
just one of those
was
things.
in line with Jupiter airdrop a little bit.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it seemed like. They definitely had an early partnership with them for launching.
Yeah.
And I think like the wallets that I qualified on made sense for the Jupiter airdrop. So I'm just assuming. I actually don't know what the OG Sol role was, but I think it had to do with that.
Agreed. It's all going to be in line if you hold your Pengu for the abstract chain launching next month. I guess there's going to be a token airdrop for that as well. So you may want to consider buying some. There are a lot of people. I saw Steve Aoki bought a penguin for 35 ETH yesterday.
That's a top.
Isn't that a top signal? I'm like, oh no, I shouldn't have said that.
I think was it him or like Justin Bieber or somebody marked the top with their purchase on a Bored Ape.
Oh yeah, 115 ETH for a Bored Ape, right?
Oh, man, jeez.
Yeah.
What timeline?
It is what it is.
What timeline are we in?
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of timeline, let's go there real quick since we actually spent a lot longer on the beginning than I thought we would. Looking at 2024, man, what a year that we had in 2024. If I just I'm just going to go through all of these and I'll pull up some of the websites so we can kind of dive into some of this, but I have 23 things and I didn't get everything. This is just stuff that came to my head, quickly this morning. So, January is when the BTC ETF was approved. January. Think about that. How long has this year been if that was in January?
It seems like it was not that long ago, but that's crazy.
Oh, it seemed like it was 3 years ago.
Yeah. This year is just blown by for me, so.
Oh yeah, like I tell people all the time, when people say that Trump had nothing to do with DeFi, I'm like, what are you talking about? I thought about it. Oh my God, he really had nothing to do with DeFi. He was not president at all when all of this kind of blew up. So that's a crazy pill to swallow too, because it's going to be interesting for the next 4 years for sure. ETH ETF is in August. Hong Kong went live with BTC and ETH ETFs not very long after. We had a BTC halvening event in April of this year. Meme coins and Pump.Fun go crazy. Pump.Fun launched in January. If you want to figure out how long this year's been, celebrities tried their hands at meme coins. Pretty much all of them failed, except for one, and that would be Mother. There we go. Iggy Azalea.
Mother provides.
Mother provides. Mother saves. I don't even know how this is the world we live in when, Haley Welch is going to be probably going somewhere interesting. And Iggy Azalea is the queen of meme coins for 2024. Athena launches in February.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
2023 is when they had rounds, but they didn't launch mainnet until March.
Yeah, but
still, yeah. I mean, they flipped DAI and they're only 10 months old. So I know. Think about that. 26% APRs on there, which drove people nuts. Like, how can you do that? Guess what? They're here and they're the third largest stablecoin in DeFi. We had an ETH hard fork upgrade, the Denkun event. So we had a halvening and an ETH event, which brought in proto-dank sharding, EIP 4844, which sadly killed the deflationary nature of ETH, made L2 fees unbelievably cheap, so it's no longer burning ETH in an ultrasound way. Eigenlayer went live in March. Rate cuts by the Fed after years of quantitative tightening. They decided to start easing. Anticipated airdrops of the year: ZK Sync, Scroll, Layer 0, Camino, Parcel, Wormhole. Tokenization of everything, thanks to BlackRock and their BUIDL fund, which went live earlier, I believe, in April. In June, CZ goes to jail with a $4 billion fine from the SEC. He's now free, and Lord knows what he's doing. Experimental tokens. We had the hybrid ERC 404 and DN 404. That was back in mid-February, because we were celebrating 50K BTC in mid-February. Just to kind of figure out how far we've gotten. We saw BTCs heat up at the beginning of the year with ordinals, and then chains like Rootstock and Stacks finally coming to the forefront. Citric Core BOB. MiCA finally is now live for stablecoins in the EU as a established regulatory crypto framework. They're still waiting for all of the EU members to make that a reality by the end of the year. This, of course, was a U.S. election year. With a large hype cycle for crypto, thanks to President-elect Trump going to Nashville in BTC 2024 in July, along with RFK Jr. and starting the crypto. Yeah, you were there, right?
That was wild, yeah. Oh man, BTC Nashville was like that was peak bull market for me. That's like when everything started. I feel like.
Wow.
And that was in July.
I know, that was so long ago.
I know, that was in July. To give you perspective, 50K Bitcoin in mid-February, 60K by Halloweenish, and then appreciates to 100K in less than 30 days post-election. WBTC, the long-standing DeFi primitive for BTC, changes up their ownership mid-year, mainly for jurisdiction purposes. They were a U.S. company for the most part, so they partnered with Bit Global to bring that to U.S., Hong Kong, and Singapore. Problem is, they decided to use Justin Sun as consigliere of some sort, and caused a huge rift. But it is what it is. And then Coinbase and others respond by releasing CBBTC within weeks. That's now live, and things are nothing broke. Nothing broke. We talked about it on this show multiple weeks. Nothing broke. 4 left. Solana and Base heat up for the majority of the year. That's not a shock. Babylon Labs creates a chain-agnostic liquid restaking BTC platform, which brought on a tsunami of liquid restaked BTC, mainly for earning the purpose of just earning yield, because what they do is they sell proof-of-work security that's staked on the Babylon platform to proof-of-stake blockchains. The beginning of the year, DAG was huge. ZK was huge. Don't know where it's at now. And then finally, the last thing of 2024 is AI. Decentralized AI. Ken here from BitTensor and Taoshi and Glitch. Finance. AI agents. We are at a true intersection of AI and crypto. And for the most part, that's your 2024. If I'm missing something, feel free to let me know. What was huge this year that I missed that was not on that list that you can think of?
Pith passes $1 trillion in TVS.
There we go.
Wow. There's some stuff up here that I was like, wow, I gotta check back on that. I didn't even know that happened. So it's been quite a crazy year. So much stuff has happened, which is setting up 2025 to be a very interesting year. I'm very excited. But yeah, half of this stuff I didn't even know really happened, to be honest. We've been head down at Taoshi, so I missed a lot of this stuff. But
that's perfectly fine. Yeah, I mean, this is the story of the year to me personally, because BlackRock only does things if they know it's going to work. And TradFi, based on our conversations, Ken, at Salt Lake City, same with you Keiko, meeting other people that are there in RWA, this is the reason why they're here, because of this specific event. And Securitize, big ups to them. Their biggest, they've been doing market making for a long time, but up until then, they still have a great relationship with Avalanche, creating subnets for companies wanting to create their own ecosystems. But to partner with BlackRock and get all this off the ground, companies like Mountain USD, Ondo, gazillion other tokenizers are going to be coming over the next 12 to 18 months. Yeah, man.
And BlackRock psyoped us into thinking that Bitcoin was going to zero, and then they decided to deploy this build program.
Exactly right. It's crazy. And looking at base and Solana volume over the year, we were hoping when we saw base enter in like in the top 15, after they launched in August of 2023, like, yeah, it'd be cool if they did okay. And now they're on the heels of flipping Arbitrum, which is, and they still have, and Keiko, they still haven't done the inevitable, right? Those family offices are not on yet.
Yeah, they've been teasing that for a year. I heard that over a year ago.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to be bringing tens of thousands of family offices and all kinds of institutions onto base. Not here yet, but we've seen all of the different, the tools in place, like the attestation chain that they have, all the AML KYC stuff that they have down there, turning base into quite the corpo chain. But they're leading the way. They're going to be leading the way in OP super chain innovations coming soon because of all the stuff that they have to do. There are chains built on top of base already, like Degen chain and some of these others.
Yeah.
So
chain on chain on chain on chain.
I'm telling you, man, it's
crazy.
It's crazy.
I think app chains are going to be the flavor of the month or the flavor of the year next year. We're already seeing it. We didn't even talk about like Unichain or exchange changes. Like you have BNB, obviously. You have Mantle, Binance. You have Kraken Inc. You have Uniswap, Unichain. You have
Unichain.
You have Hype. You have like every exchange is going to have a blockchain. That's just going to be the next year cycle thing, I think.
Even DBank chain. The gas account exists on Rabby because of DBank chain.
App chains are going to be the flavor of 2025.
Yeah, I do think we'll see a lot of that, right? And then, talking about the AI agent thing, we have Virtuals, we have AI16Z, we have Clanker, all of these in the last 3 months. But it's just crazy how much this is all just popping off, and it's all popping off. It's kind of, I look at this situation literally like August, right? If you're a sports fan, there's so much to love in August. You got baseball winding down to postseason, roughly about that time. Same thing with the NBA. College football is starting to go. You get NFL preseason. There's all these sporting events that all happen at the same time in terms of major sports, right? So, see, I kind of hold this in that same regard. So the fact that, all of this is starting to happen, we're going to have, and we're not even talking about perps. Stuff with like Drift, Polymarket. That's the other that I didn't even put down. Polymarket, a Polygon product. Probably changing the nature of how elections are looked at due to betting. Drift and all these other big perp dexes. Hyperliquid comes and steals TVL and overtakes GMX. There's a lot of other narratives of 2024 that I haven't mentioned that are just crazy. I can even talk about BitTensor with their subnets. We don't talk about that at all. And we should be talking about, because it's crazy to think that, just to give us a quick rundown of that, Ken, there's 24 subnets currently with the ability to go up to what, 60 or something like that?
Well, that's a recent thing too. They've updated, I think, now to be 50 some subnets. So even there's been a lot of growth within BitTensor. 50 some subnets, all kind of doing their own little thing. Some of them working together. New subnets coming, I think, as well. And even on BitTensor, there's the inclusion of DTAL that's coming in. So BitTensor is going to have its own token other than TAO to kind of like
really
to weight the subnets. So that's coming in Q1.
Is it like D something?
Yeah, DTAO.
DTAO, okay.
Yeah, and even then, they've had the inclusion of EVM on BitTensor. So this space in general is just booming. It's kind of hard to know where to look, everything wants your attention. So it's excited to see. what's that saying? A rising tide lifts
Lifts
all.
all ships. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm excited for all this stuff. It's hard to keep your attention on one thing, but
Yeah.
BitTensor's popping off, all these L1s, Bitcoin as well, regulatory stuff. So I think it's the perfect and the happening. I mean, it's the perfect storm. So
I was actually curious if the EVM stuff was public or not. Do most people know about the Tau?
they've
I don't want to
chatted
say
about it. So yeah, they've chatted about it. So it is public. So I think it's still with all this news going on, kind of under the radar. But
yeah.
I'm not sure if it's in production yet. But
Yeah.
that'll be
Okay. I mean, if
interesting.
it's public, I can talk about it a little bit because you'll be working with me very closely on BitTensor EVM. So
Networking on the TVL show.
yeah,
Love it.
it can spill a little bit of alpha if it's public. Yeah, so BitTensor EVM is coming. EVM compatibility through the main focus is to onboard DeFi protocols to
Yep.
BitTensor. Obviously, so Sturdy Finance is very close to that. They're kind of spearheading the integration of DeFi apps and onboarding them to BitTensor. Obviously, they have their own subnet doing automated yield strategies. So it's going to be interesting what apps start deploying on a BitTensor EVM once the compatibility is there. And yeah, Pith will be there day one.
Man, Keiko, you're plugged in.
Yes, sir.
You're very plugged in. That's awesome to hear. Yeah, I talked to Sam quite a bit from he reached out to we've had an ongoing conversation, but he reached out not too long ago to see if there's any synergy with SN8 and SN10, which is Sturdy subnet. So there could be some stuff coming with there too. But yeah, I mean BitTensor's popping off too with more subnets, with detail coming, with EVM. So it'll be exciting to see what and with subnets and EVM on BitTensor, there's a lot of things you could do there. So even this past weekend, it was I got back from vacation. I wanted to look into EVM stuff. I was like, can I? My background is DEX on VeChain, so I was like, well, maybe I can launch a DEX on BitTensor, just in a weekend or something. I know it's a lot there, but so yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of stuff happening in these ecosystems, so it's pretty exciting. 2025, this year's blown by, and I'm looking forward to 2025. And
I'm glad you thought that it blown by because I think it's been slow as hell.
Yeah, this year's been crazy for me and my family in general.
Same.
Yeah. I've calculated it. I have an app that shows me how many flights I've taken and places I've visited. 6 countries, 10 states, flown like 40 sometimes. It's just yeah.
Good for you. Is that Flighty?
Yeah.
Flighty is a great app. Flighty is an app you got to use if you're an iOS user for sure.
We need to get them to be sponsors.
Hell yeah. Especially for crypto. For sure, man. Yeah, and like you said, you just went over a bunch of things, and we still have Uniswap V4 that will probably come out now instead of October 16th will be next year. Obviously, Hyperliquid EVM is imminent. I don't know if they launch in the next couple of weeks, but
super bullish. I am
super bullish.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff coming. It's going to be super soon. We don't even have a date. Like I would tell you if we did. I wouldn't share it, but I would tell you if we did. There is no date as of right now. It is supposed to be soon. A lot of like really, really cracked teams deploying there. I've talked to pretty much every single one. You have the Anchor team deploying on HyperEVM as well. So Anchor from Terra.
Wow.
Yeah, the old Anchor Finance. What are they called now?
OG Hyperdrive.
Yes, Hyperdrive. Yep.
Hyperdrive / Ambit. Ambit Labs made Hyperdrive, but yeah, it's X Anchor team.
Yep.
We're going to be working with them to do some super cool HLP leverage looping strategies. So stay tuned for that. Then you got like Felix, Hyperland, HyperFi. Obviously, Hyperpump and Hyperfun has been insane the past month. So
that's a hurtful miss for me right there.
Yeah, it's okay. You went the virtual route. I went the Hyperfun route.
No, and both have been great. I wish I would have listened about the signals for Hyperfun, but it's young. Honestly, it's young. There's going to be more. These AI agent pump.fun meme coin stuff. I mean, we have it on all We're going to have it on Phantom Sonic. We're going to have it on Sui,
Yep.
Avalanche, Aptos. We're going to see this everywhere. I mean, they're just moving on. And then there's another one on Fraxtal that's coming out as well. Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about Fraxtal. Fraxtal's doing their Fraxtal is changing from Frax to FRX USD, and then FXS, which is Frax shares, is now going to be called Frax. That happens sometime in
I didn't even know
2025.
about that. I haven't heard anything about
That
Axel
was
either.
a couple days ago. If you wanted to reach out
Okay.
to your people,
Maybe
but
get
yeah, that's
some
going to be
news
big.
and some alpha from you guys. This is awesome.
That's why we're here, brother. That's why we're here every week.
Yeah.
1 p.m. Eastern here on these YouTube and Twitter streets. You want to be respectful of everybody's time. Thanks to both of you for being here. Before I get you guys to do your plugs, I did want to bring up one thing. As part of TVL, we do have a monthly boot camp as part of our Beacon Accelerator program, which our mastermind members get access to. It's a 4 to 6 hour boot camp with me once a month on a Saturday. It's this Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern. If you want to join, feel free to check out the pinned post on why you're always quote unquote too late for the biggest crypto gains. We'll be talking about our alpha processing and risk framework specifically as the focus topic for this boot camp. So if you're interested in that, feel free to join up or let your friends know, and they can get access to that over here, Skool.com/beacon. Again, you can join for free, absolutely free, by going to this site here. So again, gentlemen, I want to thank you for your time. Good to have you back on, Ken. Hopefully we'll have you back on pretty regularly in 2025. Love having you on. Love your mindset. And we're going to get Curd off the ground there, brother. Curd in 2025, brother.
Yeah. Our cheese curd token. We need to work on it. Keiko, if you want to get in on this, now's the time.
I love cheese curds.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, Culver. It's Culver's. It's all kinds of great things all put together. Go ahead, Ken. Go ahead and get your stuff in.
Thanks for having me on, guys. As we've mentioned, Ken, developer relations at Taoshi. Taoshi is a subnet on BitTensor. So if you want to know more, you can go to Twitter, Taoshi.io. I'm also on Twitter, Raleigh_CA. There isn't a Raleigh, California. There's a whole thing behind all that. So, but happy to be on. Give us a follow, and looking forward to chatting with you guys in the future.
Yeah, once you guys get Glitch off the ground, definitely want to have you back on for that.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
For sure. Keiko, sir, good to always have you on. Appreciate you coming on the last show in 2024.
Of course. Thanks for having me. As usual, I only have Twitter to plug, so 0xkeiko. Yeah. Pith Maxi, watch out for integrations. Pith is not only live on Solana, like many may think. We're live on
they're everywhere.
I know, I've gotten that so much recently for some reason, but yeah, pay attention to Pith integrations. Usually we are quite early to the curve, so if you want some alpha, look at where we're moving.
Can I ask a quick question before something I saw on the timeline this morning? Pith is now providing oil data?
That is 100% correct. We now have oil data on chain. So oil, commodities, stocks, gold, silver, we've already had. But yeah, we have quite a bit of traditional finance assets on chain. We actually had projects ask us for this. This was not our initiative. So yeah, there is a demand for RWAs and traditional finance assets starting to brew. And we are the only people that offer that.
It's not just T-bills, guys. We're talking about precious metals. I've seen chickens, I've seen rice, wheat, now oil.
Yeah. Soybeans.
It's all out there. Yeah.
Cheese curds.
Cheese curds.
Coming.
You know what I'm waiting for? And this is, again, we didn't really do predictions, but I would not be shocked if Monsanto comes out with tokenized farmland based on all of the monopolistic control that they have with a chokehold on our great nation of farmers by making them grow GMO crops and all of that bullshit. Sorry, I'm not going to get on the soapbox too much, but that would be crazy if like a large conglomerate that owns things. We obviously have things like fractionized ownership of like condos and REITs and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm expecting to see a real big explosion of tokenization in 2025 with multiple different types of cash equivalents coming to market through frameworks like BUIDL from BlackRock or Hadron from Tether. It's going to be wild. And we're going to be in the center of DeFi as we always are at Beacon DeFi. And we'll give you all of the opportunities to go and make money off of everybody else. No need to PvP when you can PvE and earn lots of good real yields and returns. And with that said, gentlemen, thank you for your time. Stick around for a half second while we tell the group about what a great year it's been. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you in the first week. Actually, yeah, the 8th of January will be the next time we see you on this show. I might do a best of, a little clip show. Maybe not for next week because that's Christmas. Have a great Christmas. Have a happy holiday, happy Kwanzaa, everything else that you do. And enjoy the time, enjoy the cold wherever you are in this world. Thanks for joining us. It's been a great year. 2025 is going to be a great year for Beacon and for all of our partners here that are on these calls. We'll see you then. For the last time in 2024, Beacon's up, banks down, 07. See y'all later. I hit the wrong button. I almost ended the entire studio.
Delete the whole stream.
Yeah, I almost deleted the whole stream. That would have been bad.